Don't touch that dial now. We're just getting started.
So guys, it's been a few days, I think about a week since I last posted my last video. And I posted on my community page that I wanted to change things up. Now, if you noticed, my last few videos has basically been covering Xbox and PlayStation fanboys, mainly PlayStation fanboys in general, because let's face it, when you're on X, or if you're on NeoGAF or anything like that, those are the ones with the loudest voices, the ones with the biggest megaphones. And that's from my experience, and I see both sides. If I hop on one side, I see guys like Xfault, I see Reforged Gaming, MBG, and so on and forth. On the other side, they say they're neutral, and I kind of believe them. We have guys like Sir Brovian, we have Oh No It's Alex, we also have Fratanga. Then on the Xbox side, we have Kaz and Colt Eastwood, and a few others. I think Ryan McCaffrey of IGN. Now, for the most part, I am very, very neutral. I game on everything, and I probably game more than most of the people that spends most of their time on X arguing about plastic boxes. But there's been a theme. There has also been a pattern of a certain type of service that a lot of these PlayStation fanboys and Xbox fanboys gravitate to, and that's Game Pass. Now, what is Game Pass? Let's go ahead and hop in. Before we do that, let's go ahead and see the sentiment. We're just going to see a little bit. I'm going to go on Twitter. I'm going to type in Game Pass bad, and we're going to see what that looks like. So, Game Pass bad. All right, so one thing here, DJ Phoenix, it's free on Xbox Game Pass. It's not free. You're paying $20 a month to access the service. It's not free. Anyways, let's keep on going down here. I hope they do take away day and date. Game Pass was a mistake that put Xbox on a bad path since it came out. I always prefer owning my games rather than renting them anyways. Now, that's another thing they talk about is like Xbox people don't buy their games. And it got me thinking. Now, I subscribe to Xbox Game Pass Ultimate. I've been subscribed for years, and I also use it as a service to supplement games that, you know, I might not even want to play, but sometimes I get that itch. I'm like, hey, let's see what's on Game Pass, and let's play it. A good example was last year I hopped on Game Pass and played Still Wakes the Deep, which was one of my favorite games of last year. It was probably one of my favorites in a good while, and it was a walking simulator, but it scratched the Thing, Cthulhu-esque walking simulator horror game that I tend to like. But I love the Thing, and I looked at that and I played the game, and it kind of reminded me a little bit of the Thing, with a little bit of Cthulhu vibes to it. But I usually do that. Like, I don't really use Game Pass that much. Unless I'm wanting to see a game that maybe I'm interested in, and I'll play the game, and usually I buy it. I can actually show the receipts because I pretty much buy everything that interests me for the most part. Sometimes I wait on a sale, and sometimes I use Game Pass. But there's this narrative that Xbox gamers do not buy games, which I think that's kind of stupid, because I'm going to get to my next point right here. So not only is there a uptick in subscription services. You've seen stuff with like EA Play, Ubisoft, whatever the hell that is, Nintendo Online, which they have their own little service where they let you access a bunch of old system games. You're not buying the games. Or basically, again, if you subscribe to the service, you get access to these games, and that's a common feature with a lot of these things. Now, PlayStation has their own thing too. Now, this is something else. I subscribe to this service because I love PlayStation and I like supporting brands that I love. Same thing goes to Xbox. I love Xbox, so I'm going to support Xbox by, spending money on something that I love. I like things happening, and this whole thing that Xbox is dead, I don't really care about the consoles. If the consoles want to end, I'd be fine with that. I do have them all, but if Xbox wants to make a new console next year, I'll buy it. If PlayStation wants to make one next year, I'll buy it. Nintendo's got one coming out this year, I'll buy it, and I'll actually upgrade my PC or my, Oculus Meta 3. Again, I have the receipts for these. It's not one of those things like most of these guys will make videos but really don't play games, or they don't own multiple systems. And I understand money is tight. And I'm not going to shame you just because you don't own all systems. But there is some kind of weird thing, this weird tribal thing where just because you don't have something, you have to hate it for some odd reason. I don't know why. But anyways, we're going to go back to some features of Game Pass Ultimate. So we take a look at Game Pass Ultimate. Play new video games day one and enjoy hundreds of high-quality games on the console, PC, and cloud. There's always something new with Ultimate. Now, that is true. You get access to a bunch of games, about 300, 400 games, I think. The only difference between the two services that I see is the fact that Xbox does offer day one games. Most of the time, it's just for their first-party studios. Sometimes they have other parties come in, like indies or smaller developers. They'll put their games on Game Pass day one. Now, one of the things that people says is that, it cannibalizes sales. Now, I take a look at it, I'm like, yes, maybe, but I don't think that's actually the point, because we take a look at things like Netflix and stuff like that, and, they have their own exclusives and people subscribe to them and they get paid quite a bit. And sometimes people forget about having Netflix on their subscription or whatever, and they'll continue paying it. So it kind of makes sense, like, why they're doing this. But this is no different than PlayStation Premium. The only difference is day one games, and there has been some cases in PlayStation Premium where you see some smaller games being day one on PlayStation Premium. There's not really a huge difference, and I don't understand the whole Xbox is cannibalizing sales for the whole industry, and Xbox is a rent station. And the fact is, if you take a look right here, PlayStation Plus Premium, again, this is something that I subscribe to. I actually enjoy these services. It gives you access to a ton of games. Take a look at it. Discover a universe of new experiences with 3 PlayStation Plus memberships. Just like Xbox, they have 3 different tiers. This is a normal thing. Nintendo has the same thing. It has 2 tiers. And like I said, let's keep going here. PlayStation Plus membership plans including access to hundreds of games across game catalog, classics, and game trials, and they also offer cloud. Cloud is a thing that, again, both companies offer. You could say that xCloud is better than PlayStation, or PlayStation is better than xCloud. I don't know. I don't really use cloud. I do have the Amazon Fire Stick that I bought last year because that's an Xbox now. But I don't see anything different. Like I said, I can get on my Asus ROG and download the PlayStation Remote app, and I can do the same thing for the most part. And they actually made a dedicated device called the PlayStation Portal, where you can stream games straight from that. I don't see anything different in it. No big difference. Basically, it's whatever you prefer. I don't think one is better than the other. I think Microsoft might be better just due to the fact that their cloud industry and their implementation is a whole lot better, and they put a lot of money into the cloud services. And it's not just the gaming sector. They do this with all their products, like operating systems, other servers like OneDrive, then you have Azure and all that stuff. Microsoft is paying a lot of money in the cloud. There's a lot of investment in cloud, and I see a lot of companies moving forward with this because I hate it. I'm sure you hate it. Cloud gaming is not really good for me. I don't really care for it. And the industry is eventually going to get there once the infrastructure is, up to snuff. But let's continue. So, get access to hundreds of games, jump online. Again, Xbox kind of started this a long time ago with Xbox Live, where you had to pay online. PlayStation, I think they started maybe near the end of the PS3 era, whenever they started their service where you had to pay online. I don't like this. I think it's stupid. That's just me, because on PC, you can play for free. You can play online for free as long as you pay for your internet provider. You can play it for free. You don't have to subscribe unless you're playing some MMO or some bullshit. But anyways, there's another thing that's actually nobody talks about, and it's this right here. And I think this is actually something that there's not really been a focus on. And I want to show you here. So on PlayStation, just like Xbox, I think Xbox might show it. Let's kind of scroll down, see. They might have it. I know you do get benefits on there. Yeah, right here. So you do get discounts right here, and you can actually say if it's a first-party game or something like that, they'll give you on the Game Pass dashboard, say, here's some deals with Game Pass. Since you subscribe to Game Pass, here's some special offers just for you, as well as some other perks. And like I said, you got perks here. You get like in-game consumables. You can get stuff like market passes and whatever the hell that is, and just a bunch of free play stuff, mainly like currencies and whatnot. But PlayStation also, again, you get discounts and stuff like that. Let's see if we can find it. Maybe it'll show it here. Here's actually a chart. I know how you guys love charts. You absolutely love charts, because every time somebody makes a post about Xbox or PlayStation, you have some retard coming up with the same chart that 500,000 other fanboys tend to use. So I don't understand. It's not really cool. You're not making money from it. You're just being a cheerleader again. But let's go ahead and take a look. So here's the actual rundown of what you get. So this is the first tier. It's essential. You do get monthly games, online multiplayer, discounts, exclusive cloud storage, share play, extra, a little bit more. You get the game catalog and the Ubisoft classics. And premium, you get a whole lot more. You get Sony picture catalog, which I didn't know that. I had no clue you actually get that. I need to check that out. PS5 cloud streaming, game trials, catalog. It looks like the only one that allows you to do PlayStation 5 streaming is premium, which again is something I don't really care about, but I do care about this here. I do care about the classic catalog, because there's a lot of games on there that's I like Twisted Metal. I just downloaded Killzone Liberation and Resistance Retribution, which was 2 PSP games, which, by the way, there are a bunch of games locked behind PSP and PlayStation Vita that needs to make it on these services. The only thing I do hate is the fact that you have to stream PlayStation 3 games, and again, I'm not a fan of streaming games. I know the industry is going that route, and it's actually one of those things we're going to have to eventually accept, just like how we're going to have to eventually accept that physical media may not be a thing in the future, and we have to get used to the fact that we may not actually own our games. Steam's already said this with their end. We're paying for a license that can be revoked, which sucks and is bullshit. But anyways, you get all these things. Let's see if it actually shows. Let's see if we can see if there's the discounts. I'm sure it does. There's the exclusive content. There we go. So let's go to the store. Let's take a look at the discounts. So right here, if you're a PlayStation Plus member, you do get access to discounts just for being a member. And this is actually a plus because, like I said, I like to save money on games. It's not about being poor. It's about, being wise with the money you spend. So that way you have more money to spend on games that you probably won't even play. Same thing, Xbox, we take a look at the perks. Let's see, how do we get to the discounts? Let's scroll down. By the way, I'm playing Avowed. I know I'm not supposed to like that game due to the fact that I hate woke garbage. I don't really think it's woke garbage, to be honest with you. I don't think so. I haven't really ran into anything except the fact that the art director is a fucking dickhead and should not be able to work there anymore. But, is what it is. But you do get discounts. I'm not seeing the page for that. You figured they'll put it on. But if you actually go on the Xbox dashboard, right on the console, you can actually see where it shows discounts. And they'll actually give you personalized discounts as well, just for, say if you're playing certain games and maybe the algorithm sees that and it's like, hey, you're playing these games, here's some discounts. I don't know how it works. I'm not here to be the expert of this, but I do want to point out the differences, and there's really not much. But that also begs the question. Since PlayStation Plus Premium exist and Xbox Game Pass exists, both rental services, let's go ahead and say that, a lot of the PlayStation guys are like, it cannibalizes sales, Game Pass is bad, you rent your games, you don't buy your games. There is a weird thing here because, of course, there's 75 million. We have to be reminded every single day, every single minute, if there's a PlayStation thing that comes out that is bad, like the layoffs or Concord, they have to remind you with either the charts, the clown emoji, some laughing gif, or, of course, 75 million consoles sold, which, again, that doesn't really mean much anymore because, yeah, they can sell hardware. And let's go ahead and say this. PlayStation is really good at making hardware. I don't know why the PlayStation Pro exists because, and I can make this point, and you could probably look at me and say, well, you upgrade your PC. Of course I do, but I don't upgrade my PC for, a few years, like maybe 4 or 5 years, maybe. But the PlayStation Pro exists. I'm going to crap on it for a second. And this is why I don't think, I'm glad Xbox didn't do a next-gen, mid-gen refresh, is just the fact that currently most games are still coming on the old generation, like PS4 and Xbox One, and the current base model consoles really haven't been tapped out to begin with. And what you're seeing on the PlayStation 5 Pro, and some people will be like, well, it does 8K. I was like, well, how many people actually own an 8K television? Not many. It's not really... I don't really care. I don't see the point of it, I guess. I mean, if you're rich and you have the money, and yeah, you're probably looking at me and say you're broke. That's fine. Of course, this economy sucks. I can't pay for fucking eggs. But I have to work, 40, 50 hours a week to pay for rent and my car payment, which we just bought a car. And I'm going to do a video about this car because I've never owned a hybrid before. And this car is amazing. And my wife surprised it to me at work. I think it was on Valentine's Day. It's an awesome car. I love it. I know it's not like a Bugatti or anything, but this is like my favorite vehicle. And of course, we got a lot of money to pay on this thing. But where was I? The PlayStation Pro. I just don't understand why it exists. I know the sentiment online is that it's the best place to play games, but there's been a lot of stuff that's come out that the upgrades are minimal, and sometimes they're worse than the base console. Now, this could be due to the fact that PSSR is a big main focal point, and this is a beta test. Let's just get this straight. This is a beta test for the PlayStation 6. PSSR is eventually, hopefully, going to get better. We already see AI upscaling all over the place on PC. I think Nintendo is going to have their own AI upscalers. I think they're working with AMD. I could be wrong. I don't know who they're working with. I really don't look at specs on consoles because it really doesn't matter to me, because I don't buy a console just to be like, oh, look at the specs on this guy. I do that on PC because that's where I'm going to see it. And most of the time, and I don't play a lot of PC games anymore just due to the fact that I don't really have fucking time. And whenever I get home as an IT guy, all day sitting in front of a computer, the last thing I usually want to do is hop on another computer. That's why I take a look at the Asus ROG Ally. It may not be the most powerful thing in the world, but it allows me to access my Steam library, my GOG library, my Epic, my EA, my Amazon, and whatever. If I wanted to stream my PlayStation, which I don't know why, or access Xbox or Xbox Game Pass, I've got it right there. Again, it's not the most powerful thing, but it is kind of nice to have. And that's why a lot of people, they take a look at like the Nintendo Switch, they're like, it's a potato. Yeah, but it sells really well. People like the games because they're high quality games. And, it's Nintendo. Nintendo does their own thing. Sometimes they fail, and sometimes they really don't fail at all. So I never really include Nintendo in the argument when it comes to console wars, even though back in the day, they used to be the big thing, like SNES versus Sega, or such and such, or 64 versus PlayStation. I love PlayStation, guys. I love PlayStation. It's like one of my favorite things in the world. PlayStation, Xbox. Another one of my favorite things in the world. I have people online that says, don't, sell your Xbox, you Xbots. it's not, you don't need it. And I'm like, why would I do that? I don't understand it. I'm not going to throw my shit away. Again, a lot of people say that if you subscribe to Game Pass and stuff, you don't buy games, but the same thing can be said about PlayStation Plus. It's literally the same shit. The only difference is day one. So if you also take a look at the sales of current software on PlayStation, unless it's like a third-party game like GTA or Call of Duty or something like that, they're not really getting bigger numbers. If you take a look at the actual hardware base, which again, 75 million, blah, 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 billion, whatever, Nib will make a big article about it probably. Then there'll be a big fight. Then you'll have Tripster hopping in saying something stupid and retarded. Then you'll have the biggest retard of them all, Japan hates Xbox, make a video where he says something like, Xbox maggot, blah, blah, Xbots are dumb and Japan hates you and you need to die. That shit happens on a daily. There's actually people online on X right now. Their whole personality is built on console wars, which is funny. And again, I'm trying to get away a little bit from this because I want to be more of a neutral party. But if you take a look at my last few videos, it's easy to say like, well, obviously you don't like PlayStation, and that's not it. I just don't like PlayStation fans. I really don't. Just the loud ones. Most of them are pretty nice, pretty cool. And most people that do console war, for the most part, they know they're fucking around. They're just playing. It's a game. But some people take this shit way too serious. But I do find it hypocritical, and I've actually been doing this on X's. When I see people complain on the PlayStation side about Game Pass being a rental service, and the fact this is actually kind of funny too. I do want to show you this. So PlayStation just announced that you will be able to soon, here in the UK or Japan, there will be a rental service on their consoles. Where have I heard that before? I've heard this before. Let's go ahead and look. So Xbox All Access. Let's see. Let's go ahead and take a look here. So Xbox All Access, I think they have the same thing where you can rent, you can find a retailer that offers it, get hundreds of games, including day one releases, plus an Xbox console for a low monthly price with an Xbox Series X and Game Pass, blah, 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 blah. And the thing is, you're actually it's not leasing, you actually, you are renting to own this right now, and I'm not really seeing on the PlayStation side. It's probably the same thing. I haven't found the actual page for it, but you're going to be able to do the same thing. You can rent out your PlayStation, and it's a rent-to-own thing. I don't know if it's leasing or you have to give it back, or if it's a step to owning it. But it's kind of wild that we're actually seeing hardware rentals now. I also seen this on PC. I think it was NXT that was doing something similar, where you can rent a PC, a rent-to-own at way too much than what it's actually worth. But it's really funny seeing this stuff. It's kind of hypocritical too, because now I made I made my own chart. If we take a look, here's one right now. So here's the difference. I'm showing Xbox where you can rent the console to own it. Here's the Game Pass, has all the actual features of Game Pass, and here, right here, same thing. Here's your PlayStation, here's the rental services, shows you what to do here, and of course you have your PlayStation Plus, Premium, blah, 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 all features. It's all there. It's the same fucking thing. PlayStation guys that don't have a lot of money, they might subscribe to the service and use it as a supplement while they're waiting for the first party games that aren't necessarily remasters. And by the way, Xbox is not out of the woods yet because they are doing the same thing. I think this is pretty much where everything's going. I don't think one service is better than the other. If I do, I would say Xbox, but like I said, I use that ecosystem more than I use PlayStation, and I guess that makes me an Xbox. I don't really give a fuck what you think. It's cool. But yeah, it's really wild. They say, PlayStation guys, and they call them ponies. They say that Game Pass is bad. Xbox rent games. and they're doing the same thing with their own service. But they, for some odd reason, Xbox bad, and it doesn't matter if Xbox created a machine that, you know, kissed you on the way out, made your lunch, started your car in the snow, or whatever. They would still hate it because they were like, well, PlayStation spanks my ass whenever I'm going out with a paddle, and it kisses me on my neck every day I leave. Xbox, what are you? I guess that's why they call them ponies. That and The Last of Us Part 2, whatever. Which, by the way, there's not going to be a Last of Us 3, apparently. And a wild thing. You guys remember that part when PlayStation... well, let's see if we can find this. PlayStation login. This happened with... I think it was Helldivers 2. Give me a second. I seen this a while back. There was a big controversy, and you know, a lot of people were really pissed off about it, which I don't really care. Where's the? Here we go. They actually went back on this, and I am pulling up Kotaku because that was the first thing that came in. But they actually walked it back. Helldivers 2 originally they put on a policy where on May 2nd, PlayStation Arrowhead Games, the developers behind Helldivers 2, announced on Steam that the so-called grace period was ending and that all PC players will need a PSN account. A lot of people didn't like that, and I understand why. To me, like I said, it doesn't really matter, but the fact is PlayStation Plus isn't really accessible in a lot of different countries, and actually locks people who buy the game regularly. Say if they're in one of those countries that do not offer PSN and they bought Helldivers 2, they would not be able to access that. But they did walk it back, which, you know, that was good. And let's see something funny. There was a lot of PlayStation guys on Next. They were like, "Ha ha, it's not a big deal." But hang on, this is actually kind of funny. PS5. So let's go ahead. There we go. So here we go. This was announced. Forza Horizon 5 will require a Microsoft account on PC. Damn. I wonder why. So let's go ahead and hop on my X post. I actually had one of our favorite guys, and this is Japan Hates Xbox. The dude had a full crash out, and again, this was one of those guys that just made, you know, his whole personality based on loving PlayStation, and he sounds like a hick from Alabama. But he posted this. He had a full crash out, forcing an Microsoft account on PS5 gamers on our copies of Forza Horizon, a franchise which now belongs to us. Egregious! Xbox must publicly apologize for its inconvenience caused. Xbox is whipping posts and cuck of gaming. They've been to our every whim boycott. The dude had a full-on crash out for a while, so this is an outrage. You must publicly apologize and remove this requirement, Xbox. No, you are retarded. Welcome to Xbox, buddy. Enjoy. You are now on Xbox. If you like it or not, just welcome to it. It doesn't really matter. That's about it for me. Actually, this is longer than I expected it to be. But I kind of want to go over the hypocrisies of some of these posts. And I know, again, it seems more PlayStation-centric when I'm aiming towards the fanboys. But again, when I take a look at it, I'm like, hey, these are the loudest ones. These are ones that can make the biggest fuss out of nothing. When it's, at the end of the day, it's video games, right? I love video games. You love video games. I don't want to see this industry die, which, by the way, it's not in good shape. We have tons of layoffs, and I can say this so many times. A lot of games are failing. One, due to the fact that, you know, it's putting in ideologies, the woke bullshit, and making games that people didn't want. Actually, during COVID, they seen an uptick of game sales and hardware sales because people were locked into their homes. But now it's not like that anymore. But you're seeing a lot of pushback and a lot of stuff, a lot of studio closures, tons of them. A lot of games that are failing, tons of them. PlayStation released Concord, it exploded. People are saying Avowed broke, and you know, it is what it is. There's a lot of games. Like I said, I do love Avowed and whatever. But yeah, I just hope the game industry doesn't die. I really love this industry. I love the people around it. I do like this, watching people fight over the Xbox, PlayStation, Nintendo stuff. It's actually funny, and it's, you know, takes me back to the old days, and that makes me a boomer, I guess. But again, if people are sitting there telling you this big hogwash about Xbox Game Pass bag, the only thing you need to ask them is, do you pay for PlayStation Premium? And if they say yes, well, the only difference really is first day one games. So it's really literally the same. PlayStation is a rental service. Xbox is a rental service. Hardware, software, rent, cloud, blah. Same thing. Whatever. As I'm done here, I hope you guys have a great day. Be sure to hit that subscribe button. I'll see you soon.
Shut the fuck up. You're a fucking cunt. Shut the fuck up. You're a stupid cunt. Suck my dick.